nutritionist there. So my name is Ana Duran. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I believe I know most of you guys in person, but I do have some people that follow me on Instagram that I may not know them in person, but they've been following me for a while. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I do have my own private practice, which is Nutrición Bilingüe. That's my username in Instagram. Now, a disclaimer, I am a registered dietitian. However, this is not a one-on-one consultation. This presentation here is for general nutrition information purposes. I don't know your medical health history. I don't know if you have diabetes. I don't know if you have, I don't know, any health problems. I don't know your physical activity, your lifestyles, and I don't know your blood results. However, this information that I will share with you guys today, I share with most of my patients and clients that I see on a day-to-day basis. Um, so at the end, I will also share with you guys some handouts and resources for you guys to have. If you guys have a pen and notebook, you guys want to take notes, go ahead. You could also do that too. Um, so please, one thing, if you're interested in nutrition, focusing on your health, please visit your doctor, your dentist, your dietitian, if you have a therapist. There's so many factors that go into health. It's not just one person, it's not just the doctor. So, thank you for being here today. Now, a little bit about myself. I know you guys share a little bit about your name. What is your favorite fruit? Some people say they like grapes. Some people say they like pineapples. I say I like oranges. So, a little bit more about me. I was born in Mexico. For my family is I have two children, a boy and a girl. I have a dog. She's a puppy. She's really 7 months. She likes to bite and chew on everything. And I'm married. I have a husband. Sorry, guys, I'm not single. My favorite color is purple. I also enjoy hiking, reading, baking, and I love eating. This is why I got interested into the nutrition field because I love food. I like to eat. And coming from Mexico culture, there's a lot of food, enchiladas and sopes and tacos, you name it, right? Right now we have tamales and pozole because of Christmas and holidays. However, my favorite food is tacos. So everybody's different. Everybody has different likes and dislikes. So it's okay for us to be different. We don't have to like the same things. My education, I got my bachelor's in nutritional science in Cal State LA. I went to ELAC Community College for a couple classes. I took American Sign Language and sociology, something like that. I went to Cal State Long Beach where I took a nutrition class. And my internship in nutrition is from the program in Cal Poly Pomona. So I've been in the nutrition field for the last 8, 9 years, where I have worked in hospitals, in the WIC program, helping mommies who are pregnant and babies and breastfeeding. I also work in the Head Start program, focusing in the children from ages 18 months, a year and a half, to 5 years old. I have also experience working in clinics, outpatient, which outpatient means that they're not in the hospital. So, like when you go to the doctor, get your physical, get your immunizations, they get your blood work. So that's where I work right now for outpatient clinics. So I'm also starting my private practice where I'm seeing clients one on one. So now, what is a nutritionist? Many people know what is a nutritionist. However, here in California, United States, a nutritionist does not have any accreditation. Somebody can just name themselves nutritionist without having any background in health or nutrition. And many of these people are selling pills, teas, juices, and shakes, and oils, and powders, and things. It may not be evidence based. So I want you guys to be informed. What is a nutritionist? Who's a nutritionist? Who can name themselves a nutritionist? And nutritionists sometimes they don't care about your health. They may know you and they say like, "Oh, take this and it's going to help you." But they don't really know 100% the background of what they're selling. They may know they just want to focus on their business or getting your money. So don't fall for nutritionists. Now, am I a nutritionist? Well, my title is a registered dietitian nutritionist. So nutritionist is proud of my title, so it will be RDN. Other people just call themselves registered dietitian, that will be RD, and they're the same. So there's no like one is better than the other one or anything. It's just once you get certification, you get to choose which ones do you want to use. I choose dietitian nutritionist because in Hispanic culture, there's no dietitian title, it's just nutrióloga, nutricionista. So that's what I choose to use the RDN. So, who is a dietitian? To become a dietitian, you need to have at least a bachelor's of science. You need to complete an internship for at least 1,200 hours, and this internship is without pay. They don't pay you. You actually have to pay them to apply for the program and to complete these hours in nutrition. And these hours in internship in nutrition, they're in renal facilities, like where they're doing dialysis. There's also in outpatient clinics, in hospitals, in school food service, like cafeteria workers at school. So you get to see different aspects in nutrition to complete your hours. After the completing the hours for dietitian, you have to take a board certification test. That's when you become registration. And then to continue having the registration, you need to have continued education. Right now with COVID, everything is like webinars, like we're doing right now, like telehealth. So many of the presentations I've been doing is like presentations from other people, different states, different dietitians, doctors. Um, Dietitians is actually only 3% are Spanish speakers. And I guess one of the reasons is we don't have the money to be going into an internship and pay for the internship and not work for 9 to 10 months without being affected into our income from our house, right? So only 3% of dietitians are Spanish speakers. And dietitians generally want to help people. We wouldn't go to school and study all these classes and do this internship, take a test, and all this stuff if we didn't care for learning about nutrition and helping others. So that's what I'm here. I want to help you guys. So, why is nutrition important, or when is nutrition important? Nutrition is important at every step in your life, from when mom is pregnant to the baby, to childhood, to adulthood, to seniors. So I work with people from different ages. I work with men, with women, with transgender, with everybody. There's different health issues that are affected with nutrition and could be improved with nutrition. For example, deficiencies. One of the ones that I see more often is anemia, vitamin D, and malnutrition. When people think about malnutrition, they usually think about like somebody starving or like people from like I don't know low countries where they don't have enough money, like I don't know Africa and South America. But malnutrition could happen at any body size. It doesn't have to be somebody skinny to be malnourished. High blood pressure is something that I see often. Kidney problems, dialysis, liver damage. It could be due to not eating enough food, due to alcohol abuse. Dyslipidemia, it's cholesterol, triglycerides. Also, a lot of people with digestive issues like constipation, heartburn. For athletes, if they're not eating correctly, there is disease. It's called rhabdomyolysis, which means that their muscles are not getting enough energy, so they're often having injuries in their muscles, injury in their bones, injury in the hips. So athletes are also important to have adequate nutrition. If a person has any wounds or burns, nutrition is important. And eating disorders, the last bullet point, it's a big one right now. With COVID, a lot of people are going through a lot of mental health issues like stress, anxiety, depression, and that is also affected with our eating habits. How we feel can affect how we're eating, and how we're eating can also affect how we're feeling. So, do you notice I didn't mention height and weight? Like from all these things that I mentioned regarding nutrition, I didn't mention height and weight. Why I didn't mention height and weight or BMI? So what is BMI? Pop quiz. BMI stands for Body Mass Index, which means what is your height and your weight. So when you go to the doctor, they take your height, your weight, and then they check like, oh, you're healthy, you're obese, you're overweight. And then the doctor would tell you like, oh, this is your weight. However, BMI alone, so only by checking your weight and your height, we cannot determine if you're healthy or not. The BMI was an equation that was completed by a mathematician. It was not a doctor or physician. And this was to do the, what is it called, the um, math equations to find what is the perfect formula to find the perfect male and perfect female in the white population. So what does this mean? It means that not everyone's white. I'm Mexican. I don't consider myself white. I'm Hispanic, Latino. Estoy morenita, so I'm not white. Um, Also, everybody has different body types, right? An athlete could be having a strong muscles and be strong, and their BMI will put them at an obese category, but it doesn't mean they're not healthy. It's just because they have more mass, they have more muscle, so they're bigger. So BMI does not count for body type, for race, it doesn't count for muscle, and it doesn't count for age. It's normal as we age for our body to change. So weight alone does not determine health. So what is health? Health is a state of free from injuries and illness, and it's both physically and mentally. So if you're not feeling good from your mind, that's also going to affect your physical form. If you're not feeling good from your physical form, that could affect your mind, and both are affected by nutrition. So, with this pointing in mind, going back to the picture right here, if we look at these four women right here, we cannot tell which one is healthy just by looking at them. Many people would assume that the person with the bigger body will be not healthy, but you never know. Maybe she's the most healthier one, and the one that is um, on the other side of the picture, maybe she's having anorexia or bulimia, or maybe the one in the middle has high blood pressure or diabetes. You cannot tell by looking at a person what is their health status. So with this, it comes diet culture. What is a diet culture? Diet culture means that everybody has to look like a supermodel. Everybody has to look with the body type with like big boobs and big breasts, and men, everybody has to be strong and fit. And with this, it comes a negative body image. If you don't look at yourself like a supermodel or an athlete, you may feel like depressed and stressed. You may have lower self esteem. And this is when eating disorder starts to happen because we start eating less. First, we start cutting out one food, and then another food, and then another food, and then we're only limited to eating like a couple little foods because we're really restricted with the foods. So, diet culture is affecting our eating habits. Everybody wants to follow a new trend and a new diet, and let's do this and let's do that. So, weight stigma may have a negative implication, and weight stigma you could see it with including doctors. If you go to the doctor may not have your blood work yet, your has your cholesterol, your iron, your sugar, but they may tell you, "Oh, you're obese." So if you want to go to the doctor but don't want to be stepping on the scale, you have the right as a patient. You could decline. You could say, "I don't want to go on the scale," and then they just put patient decline. But then they could do everything else, so that way they don't just focus on the weight. So with weight stigma, a lot of people feel like, oh my God, I'm fat. There's nothing I could do because it's on my genes, and like there's nothing I could do about it. But there is a new framework of, that is called Health at Every Site, or it stands for HAES. So HAES. This framework of work focuses on healthy habits. It doesn't focus on size. And this is the framework that I like to work with my patients and my clients. I don't focus on how much weight you're losing. I don't focus on what's your BMI. I focus about your health status in the whole picture. How are you eating? How are you sleeping? How do you feel? Do you have stomach pain? Do you have constipation? Do you have headaches? So that way we could focus on health and not on weight. Um, like I mentioned, a person can be sick or have an illness at any body size, just like a person can be healthy at any body size. So it's important to remember that. When a person loses weight and we tell them, oh, great job, you lose weight, you look great, we don't know how the person lose the weight. Maybe they're going to depression. Maybe they have anxiety. Maybe they have an eating disorders. Maybe they have an illness, let's say like cancer or something, but we don't know. We just look that they lost weight and we tell them, oh, great job, you look fine. But we don't know what's going on with the person. So I know our culture is so much focused on the weight, but we could do other compliments like, oh, how you feeling? Tell me about the project. How is your life? Where did you go travel? What is the best recipe you did? Like there's so many things that we could talk about, but sometimes that's the main thing we focus. Like, oh, I like your hair. Oh, your eyes look nice. I like your makeup, right? We focus on the outside. So now let's talk a little bit more because this class talks about what is carbohydrate. So we're going to talk about that. So have you ever feel like this? Like you're having a headache, you're having a blurred vision, you feel super tired and you just want more coffee? Do you ever feel stress and anxiety or have you ever fainted? So what are these symptoms? These symptoms, many people have them and we say like, "Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired too. Bring me coffee," right? So this may not be normal, even though we make it seem normal because a lot of people go through this. So what could really happen is we could be having low blood sugars. Low blood sugars happen because you go a long time without eating, or maybe you're eating a little bit of food, or maybe you're not eating enough carbohydrates, or maybe you're doing a lot of physical activity, but you're not eating correctly, right? Remember, we talk about the athletes, or maybe you have diabetes and you're taking a lot of diabetes medication. So, all of this could happen, and all of this could cause low blood sugar. So, low blood sugar doesn't feel good and we don't want to have it. Now, what are carbohydrates, right? That's the topic. What are carbohydrates? So many people call them carbs or sugars. I have a list right here. So all of this means the same. Carbohydrates, sugars, starch or starches, honey, glucose, fructose, lactose, maltose, dextrose, all of them with the O's. So that means sugar or carbohydrates. However, carbohydrates are not evil because a lot of people right now are into the low carb diet and not eating carbs, and carbs are bad, right? But carbohydrates are not evil. They're not the enemy, and they alone will not cause a weight gain, and they alone do not cause diabetes. So, what foods have carbohydrates? Any questions so far? Let me pause right there. And if you guys want to remain anonymous, it's okay. You guys don't have to say anything. If you guys have a question, you guys are welcome to go ahead and fill me in with your questions. Is everybody awake or we need a stretch break? Okay, let me go back to here. Okay, so moving along. So what foods are carbohydrates? So this is the main nutrition one-on-one that I do with my patients and my clients and even my children at home and my husband. There are 5 food groups that we could see. The 5 food groups include vegetables. So for vegetables, we could have, I don't know, nopales, zucchini, carrots, tomatoes. I don't know, there's too many vegetables. For proteins, many people think meat, like fish and chicken and eggs and turkey and beef. Um, Beans, nuts also have proteins. For fruits, we just talk about fruits when we started. So fruits, there's bananas, grapes, apples, strawberries, too many. For grains will be breads, rice, pasta, tortillas. For dairy, we have milk, cheese, yogurt. So all these 5 food groups are important. And why do we need each one? Each one will tell you right here. So vegetables, they help with digestion. Proteins, they help with muscle and sugar control. Fruits, they have minerals and vitamins and fiber. For grains, they also provide us with energy. For milk, many people know milk is good for our bones, but milk is also good for our heart. It helps your heart right there. So now, for these five food groups, which one have carbohydrates? Which ones have sugar? The ones that are with the underscore line will be the ones that have sugar or carbohydrates, which means most foods have carbohydrates. Milk has carbohydrates, grains have carbohydrates, fruits have carbohydrates. For proteins, beans do have some protein and carbohydrates. They have both. Vegetables, they are a little bit of vegetables that have carbohydrates, which will be potatoes, corn, and peas. But these five food groups are important. We need them, right? So now they are five food groups, but they are three macronutrients. Macronutrients is what our food is composed. Our food is not just carbohydrates. So our food will be divided into three groups: proteins, fat, and carbohydrates. So I put a list right here. I know this is a busy slide. So right here we check. We have proteins. We mentioned chicken, fish, eggs, so too many. Fats, we have healthy fats and also healthy fats. We have nuts and meats, mayonnaise, margarine, lard for carbohydrates. We just mentioned them before. Plus, the other carbohydrates will be like sweet drinks, like sodas, juices, candies, cookies, um, too many. So if you notice, a food will have, if you buy something like, say, I don't know, even tortillas, bread, they'll have a nutrition label. In the nutrition label, it's going to tell you how much it has from each food, right? How much protein, how much fat, how much carbohydrate. So each food may have all three, or only two, or mainly one. But most of the times, they may have two to three. So, for example, milk. If you notice, I put milk in every three of the um, of the sections for the macronutrients. Milk has protein, milk has fat, and milk has sugar, carbohydrate. However, it varies on the amount of fat depending on the cap. So if you buy whole milk, it's going to have more fat. If you buy 2%, it's less fat. If you have 1%, lower fat. If you have a skim milk, it's like zero fat. That's why it looks like water, right? So milk has all three, and there's different kinds. So same thing with many foods. They may have combination of different things, but most foods will have two to three macronutrients. So that's all foods. So I don't want you guys to be scared of carbohydrates. Now, what about vegetables? I know we mentioned some vegetables do have some carbohydrates. We say potatoes, corn, sweet potatoes, right? What about vegetables, other vegetables? Right here we could see the picture. Cauliflower and bell peppers, tomatoes, I don't know. So usually vegetables, they're low on carbs, they're low on fat, and they may also be low on protein. So only a few will have a few proteins. So maybe like peas and soy. Soy has like tofu or soybeans, soy milk will have higher protein than other vegetables. But most vegetables are really low on all three. They're low on carbs, they're low on fat, and low on protein. So that's why vegetables are really good for us because they have really nothing. It's like a free food. You could have as many vegetables as you want. So, what are the reasons we need carbohydrates, right? So, we don't need to fear our carbohydrates. The five reasons why we need carbohydrates is because they provide us with energy, they have fiber, they have antioxidants, they help our brain and nervous system. There is a main source of energy for our brain. So this is why when we go a long time without eating or we haven't eat or enough carbohydrates or too little, we got headaches because our brain needs the sugar, our brain needs the energy. They also help to balance our hormones. People they are into restricted diets or not eating enough, they usually have problems with their hormones. So for females, they may notice it by losing their period. In males, they may notice it by having the rest dysfunction or I don't know, different things with their hormones. So carbohydrates also taste really good and delicious. So that's why we usually crave them when we not eating enough tortillas or bread or fruits. We may crave them because they taste good. And when we restrict something, we usually just gonna increase our craving. So when people say like, "Oh, I'm not gonna eat no tortillas and no bread or no rice," your brain actually will crave it more. And when you start craving it more, there's a time where you're like, "Screw this! I'm not gonna do it anymore. It's too hard." So then you go eat it, and what happens is you end up eating too many. So binging is like eating too many at once. So that's why restriction is not recommended. So we don't want to restrict our carbohydrates. So there's that other end, right? When we have low blood sugar, and that could also happen with high blood sugar. Some people will say like, "Oh, don't eat cake, you're gonna have diabetes," right? "Don't eat cookies, you're gonna have diabetes. Don't drink soda, you're gonna have diabetes." Everybody's scared of diabetes, right? So high blood sugar could happen for many reasons. They could happen because the hormones are changing, and maybe your pancreas is not creating insulin that helps lower the sugar. So it's just maybe a disease. It's not that because you're eating too many of something. High blood sugar could also happen because of stress, because we're not sleeping enough. That's also important. So how we're sleeping can also affect our sugar levels. Dehydration, when you're not drinking enough water, that can also your blood sugar to go high. When your blood sugar is also high, you may also have increased appetite. Like you constantly want to be eating and eating and eating. And that happens because your body is getting a certain high of the blood sugar. So your body often wants to keep having that high. So if you go a period without eating, you feel hungry again because your body wants to have the high blood sugar elevated most of the time. Sweet drinks that could also has high blood sugars. When we eat too much, like binge eating, physical activity can also affect our sugar. So if we do too much physical activity and we don't eat, could be low blood sugar. Or for people that do no physical activity or really low physical activity, their blood sugars could be elevated. For people that have diabetes and they're not taking their medication, that can also cause the high blood sugars to be up. And the body works in crazy ways. Sometimes people they go long time without eating, they can also go. Thank you. So also for long time without eating can also make your blood sugar go up. It's crazy because people that have diabetes or are at risk of having diabetes, they're like, "I'm not gonna eat because then my sugar is gonna go high." But your body does not want to go with low blood sugar, so your body will make sugar to keep the blood sugar up, even if you don't eat. And how this happens is breaking down the sugars and the energy from your liver and your muscles. And then you end up with having fatty liver, which means you remember your body needs fat, sugar, and protein. But if you're not having enough sugar, enough carbohydrates, it breaks it down from the liver and your muscles. So you may still having high blood sugar, prediabetes, or diabetes, even if you don't eat. So it's better to eat small portions of food through the whole day so that way you're preventing high blood sugars. Um, so now meal pattern. So what I recommend with my patients, what I recommend with my people and my friends, I always tell them, don't skip meals, right? Have your breakfast, have your snack. So for a meal pattern, it could look different for every person. So no person should avoid all carbohydrates, right? We don't want to have low blood sugars. However, we saw that there are different foods that have carbohydrates. It could be on cookies or sugar or milk or fruits or breads. So there's different options. It's not the same drinking a soda than having an apple, right? An apple comes with, for one portion of carbohydrate. A soda, if it's a can, it could count for 4 to 5 carbohydrates, which means 4 to 5 apples. So it's not the same, right? So for carbohydrates, there are the natural carbohydrates in food, and then there's the added carbohydrates. So what are the best options for carbohydrates? We could look for things that are whole grains. For example, quinoa, brown rice. Tortillas are actually a whole grain. So if you eat a whole wheat toast or you have a taco or a quesadilla with the corn tortilla, they both whole grains. So don't listen to people that say don't eat tortillas. Tortillas are a whole grain. So I like tacos, so you guys could also enjoy your tortillas. So we want to look for milk. Whole milk is only recommended for children between ages 1 to 2 because their brain is still developing, they're learning, they're walking, they're burning too many calories. So this is the only stage when whole milk is recommended. After age 2, everybody should be drinking 1% or 2% lower fat milks. So fruits, even though fruits have sugar, there's a new trend. Everybody, most of my patients, especially teenagers, they're not eating fruits because they say they have too many carbs. So fruits are good. We could eat fruits. Starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, and corn also has sugar, right? So what does a meal look like? So if we put a meal, we want to have something with protein. So for example, this picture has fish, I think it's salmon. It has some vegetables like broccoli. It has some grains like rice. On the rice also looks like it has carrots, and then there's some grapes. So maybe that's example for one person. Or the one that we saw before with the meal platter, it has vegetables, it has fruits, it has protein, it has grains. So and some milk. So I usually don't like milk with my food, but some people do. Maybe it's cool. So there's children, they have milk with their foods. Maybe so it depends how you want to make your food, but having a balanced meal is not just having tortilla and meat. It's not just having rice and chicken. So adding some vegetables will make a complete meal. And some people ask me, well, how many tortillas should I eat? How much rice should I eat? Well, everybody's different, right? Just like everybody has different body types, everybody has different appetite. So it's not about how much I should eat, it's about having the balanced meal, right? So it's okay to eat cookies and other sweets, but we want to do moderation, no restriction. Because when we're restricting them and saying no cookies and no chips, then we're going to be craving them more. And when we eat them, then we're going to be eating too many. So it's okay. You go enjoy your chips and your cookies sometimes, right? So don't be scared of carbohydrates. That's my main takeaway from today. Don't be scared of carbohydrates, right? So meal pattern is how you want to build your plate. Now, meal times are also important, right? Because we say you could have high blood sugar if we didn't eat, but then if we don't eat for a long time, we could also have low blood sugar. So what I recommend my patients, my clients, and you guys, thank you for being here today. I recommend having 3 meals every day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you could also have snacks. So if you feel like you need a snack in between a meal, or it's a long time, or you're going to go into the meeting and your lunch is going to be pushed back 2 hours, then have a snack. So what is a snack? So for a snack, I recommend two things. Some people tell me, oh, I like fruits for snack, right? So fruits are good, but I recommend for snack, pick two things. Pick something that has carbohydrate plus something that has protein or fat. For example, some people do apple and peanut butter. Some people do, I don't know, what's another example? A toast with peanut butter. I guess you guys could tell I like peanut butter. Um, Another way could be maybe a quesadilla, a tortilla with maybe some cheese, right? Nuts, there you go. Thank you, Crystal. So nuts, if you add maybe an orange with some nuts or pecans, so that way you're having a protein with our healthy fat with the carbs. So combining two things is better. This is for people that have diabetes and for everybody, even if you don't have diabetes. It's okay to pair your things. Don't just eat the fruit alone, pair it with something with protein. Yogurt, we say yogurt has sugar and protein, so you could pair your yogurt with some fruit and maybe some nuts on top, right? Like almonds or cashews, so that way you're adding more. So if possible, it's important to try to keep your meals consistent on the same times every day, so that way your body knows what to expect. When we're skipping meals and your body doesn't know when is the next meal, then this is when the hormones start to change and go crazy, right? So no restriction because it leads to overeating. And then I have two grabs right here. The first one on top, it's a person that only have coffee and a bread for breakfast, and then for lunch he had a tiny lunch because they got a salad with their friends lunchtime at work because they're all trying to lose weight and they only grab a salad. But then if you look at 10 p.m. at 10 p.m., they were super hungry, and now they're eating ice cream with a spoon, and they're eating a pizza, and they're eating a sandwich, and they're eating everything and anything they could find. So that means that through the whole day, they were not eating properly. So now at night, they want to eat everything. So when we eat consistently through the whole day, breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinner, that will help your body to maintain sugar level more steady, like slow weights instead of going like a roller coaster up and down, right? Um, so now this is my wrapping up, guys. So take care of yourself. Cuídense. What diets have you tried? There's so many crazy diets, right? The keto diet and low fat diet and I don't know what diets and the juice diet. So it's important to take care of ourselves. Don't listen to crazy people. It's important to learn now when you're feeling well and you're strong and healthy and young, then be learning when you're feeling sick and when you're feeling when you're not feeling well. If you're feeling sick, if you're feeling tired, if you're in the hospital, it's not the best time to learn about nutrition, right? That's what I don't like working in the hospital, because in the hospital everybody's like sick and dying in pain. But working outpatient with people that go to the doctor and they're walking, they're more alert. They want to learn, or they want to prevent going to the hospital. So you want to invest in your health now and focus in nutrition and health now, or do you want to spend more money and time at the doctor and the hospital, right? So I continue working with you guys. So let's continue working together so you guys could continue being healthy, and I believe in you. I'll be your cheerleader. Yay! So we'll continue being healthy together. So now I want to share with you guys what I'm offering. My nutrition care program, when I work one-to-one with my patients and clients, is the best time that works for you and for me, because I also have another job. I offer client nutrition center counseling. I review the blood work together, because many times the doctor doesn't tell you what your blood work means. He just tells you, oh, this one's good or this one's bad, right? Change your eating habits, but they don't tell you what or how. I offer nutrition education like we reviewed today. It's individualized to one-on-one. Now you guys could tell me, how is your blood work? What symptoms you're feeling? And from here, you're going to be having better energy, better blood work, better health, and better quality of life. Because when we're not feeling good mentally and physically, your quality of life may be lower. So I want you guys to have a good quality of life. So I offer nutrition care appointments one-to-one. So these are my regular prices. Initial it's 120, but follow-up it's 90. However, if you guys want to follow with me for 7 sessions, my goal is not to keep you forever working with me, even though I build relationships and we'll continue hanging up and stuff. I don't want you guys to pay me and continue working for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I adequately want you guys to be successful and learn and care for yourself on your own. So my goal is about 4 months working with the client one-on-one. So for 4 months, the average price is around 600, but right now for discount for you guys, it will be 450. And if we divide it into 4 months, that will be around 112 per month, or like $28 per week. $28 per week is usually what we spend when we go out to eat with our friends, right? Sometimes it's even more. If you get drinks and stuff, it could be even more pricey, right? So this is one-on-one. However, like today, we did a group nutrition class. So I will be starting now nutrition group classes. So instead of one-on-one, we could do group classes. We could meet, and you guys could meet other people that are going through the same thing. We could learn together, support each other as a group. However, this will be set days and times, and recordings will be available. And my topics that I will be presenting are here. For days, I think Mondays work best, but if you guys as a group, we want to change it, maybe we could do that. And we will be meeting 2 times per month. We could review different topics. So these are my topics that I have suggested. We could talk about hydration, reading nutrition labels, fiber that will focus into preventing cholesterol and constipation, anemia. We could focus on vitamin D and calcium. We could talk about high blood pressure and heartburn, and an extra topic for you guys to pick as a group. So this one, because it's a group, is not a one-on-one, it's cheaper. So if you want to just come to one class at a time, it will be $90. But if you wanna, you're here today, so you get an extra discount. It will be 50. If you wanna do all 8 classes, for you guys will be $300. But if we break it down, 4 months, that will be around $75 per month, or $2.50 per day, which will be kind of like a cup of coffee. And coffee sometimes is more pricey, like $5, right? So these are my new things that I will be starting. So I hope you guys could join me and want to join me for these nutrition classes, or maybe one-on-one if you think that works best for you. So now you guys know what's up with carbohydrates. So take care, guys. Don't listen to diet culture. Don't follow any crazy diets they're going to start, because New Year's, new resolution, and new me, and new diet, and hashtag new person, and whatever. So don't listen to them. Now you guys have a little bit more understanding about carbohydrates. So now I'm open up for questions, maybe for the next 5, 10 minutes. If you have any questions,